Hello, Abnormal Investigations family. I appreciate y'all being here and listening to this 8 o'clock drop. It's a 2 video drop day. I hope you enjoy the 2 video drop days. I enjoy doing them. They're a lot of work, and I appreciate y'all smashing that like button, guys, to get everything rolling. The gentleman that sent this in, he said he wanted to share this story because they're older now, and one of the people in the story has passed away of old age, and another person in the story has passed away. So he wanted to share it, he said, in order for the story to be told before it dies with the rest of them, because they're older now. So, without further ado, let's get into this encounter, guys, and let's see where it takes us. I remember it was like yesterday. It was 1949, and I was out with my friends in Shady Point, Oklahoma area. We were hanging out by the creek, being loud and laughing and teasing the girls we had brought along. Sherry and Devin and my friends Jimmy and Cecil were there too. We were just enjoying a beautiful day, having a blast together. I'm so grateful to have had that time with my friends, and that memory has stuck with me all of these years. As the sun began to set, we decided to keep shooting, determined to see who could hit their targets in the fading light. We started cutting up some wood to use as light from the fire. We had decided to stay until the dark. The sound of the .22 revolver echoed through the creek, and the smell of gunpowder, of course, filled the air. It was a thrilling adventure. We brought a .22 pistol with us, and of course, a brick of .22 shells. But little did we know, our fun would soon take an unexpected turn. As we were gathering wood, we suddenly heard a strange, unsettling sound. A howl or a yell. We couldn't quite tell. We exchanged nervous glances at one another. We didn't see anything, but the sound seemed to come from somewhere nearby. It was eerie and unexplained, and it made us feel uneasy. We tried to brush it off as a wild animal, but deep down we knew it sounded different. The laughter and joking ceased, and we became more cautious, our sense heightened. We looked at each other, wondering if we should head back, but our curiosity kept us rooted to the spot, waiting to see if the sound would come again. We decided to build the fire closer to the truck, just in case we needed to make a quick getaway. It was a wise decision, as it turned out. We gathered some dry leaves, twigs, and branches, and soon had a small fire crackling away. The flames cast flickering shadows on the trees, making us feel a bit spooked. But we were also relieved to have some warmth and light. We huddled around the fire, trying to shake off the feeling of the unease that had settled over us. Little did we know our decision to fire near the truck would prove to be a lifesaver later on. As we were starting to relax again, we heard a loud snap of a branch breaking, followed by a blood-curdling yell that made every one of us jump, shake, and almost drop everything we had in our hands. It was very close and very loud. The yell was like nothing we had ever heard before. It was like a dog's snarl, but also sounded almost human. Then, to our horror, it let out a menacing laugh. My instincts took over, and I fired the .22 into the darkness, trying to scare whatever it was away. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the woods, and we heard a growl followed by the sound of footsteps crashing through the underbrush headed toward the thicker woods. Our hearts were racing, and we knew we had to get out of there fast. We all scrambled to get into the truck except for Cecil, who jumped into the bed with his pistol. As we sped away, Cecil was screaming, "Go, go, go," and firing his pistol into the darkness, screaming, "It is chasing us." Jimmy was laughing, and he was laughing maniacally, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "I'm going to really scare him," he yelled, his foot pressing down on the gas pedal. Suddenly, he stopped the vehicle, and the truck came to a full and complete stop in the darkness. And then, as if that wasn't scary enough, he turned off the headlights, plunging us into an inky blackness. We yelled to him, "Go, dumbass!" But he just sat there grinning from ear to ear, trying to scare Cecil in the back of the truck, and then we heard it. The sound of footsteps crunching through the underbrush, getting closer and closer to the truck. And then something slammed into the side of the truck, sending us sideways. The back of the truck slid sideways probably a foot or two. The impact was so forceful that I felt it like a giant car had slammed into the side of our truck. Jimmy's eyes went wide and he floored it, the tires tearing the gravel off of the road as the truck surged forward. We were thrown back in our seats, our hearts racing with fear. Cecil was still firing his pistol into the darkness, yelling at the top of his lungs. The truck's engine roared as Jimmy sped down the dark road, the only sound being the tires tearing up on the gravel slinging everywhere, and Cecil's gunfire. We didn't dare look back, fearing what we might see. We just held on for dear life, praying we'd make it out alive. We were going over trees and under trees, but none of the trees hung over the road, and that'll be important later on in this story. They just were on both sides of the road. We finally made it out alive after we had all, I'm sure, had said a prayer in our minds. We finally made it back to town, exhausted and shaken. We pulled into the store parking lot, our minds still reeling from the events of that night. We got out of the truck, our legs trembling as we surveyed the damage. And then we saw Cecil. He was lying motionless in the bed of the truck, his face covered in blood. Our hearts sank as we rushed to his side, calling out his name. But he didn't even move. We called for help, and the authorities arrived soon after, and then the ambulance personnel. They examined Cecil and delivered the devastating news. Cecil had passed away from a broken neck. The official story was that it was probably caused by a tree limb, but we knew better. No trees hung over the road where we was at. We knew that whatever had attacked us in those woods was responsible for Cecil's condition. I'm glad we shared the story, even though it's a painful reminder of that frightful night. We'll always remember Cecil and Devin that is now passed also, and the terrifying encounter that changed our lives forever. As we grow older, we realize the importance of sharing our experiences, no matter how difficult they may be. Thank you, Mike, for listening and for keeping the memory of our friends alive. And to all those who may read this, remember, always keep your head on a swivel and never venture into those woods alone. That's a sad story. Again, another excuse I think that they use to show, that something happened. I can't help but wonder that when you stopped, if whatever was chasing you ended up jumping in the back of the truck with Cecil. That's probably why you was hearing the gunshots while y'all were flying down that dirt road. He was trying to shoot whatever it was off of him, and it probably had a hold of him until it finally was able to snap his neck. I would have hated to be Cecil in the back of that truck, seeing something chase me through the woods. Knowing that you're getting away, the truck stops. You see this creature running at you, and then the headlights and everything turns out, and you're in pitch blackness with it. Be pretty terrifying. Thank you for listening, guys. I can't wait to see your comments on this one. Don't forget to smash that like button. And guys, if you're from Oklahoma, that's where we do most of our research at. Subscribe to our channel if you're from anywhere, but if you're in Oklahoma, we do most of our boots on the ground here in Oklahoma, and we get a lot of encounters. So subscribe if you haven't. We'd love to have you. And if you're not in Oklahoma, subscribe also, because we'd love to have you too. We'll see you on the next one.